Ubuntu 17.10, which is codenamed Artful Aardvark, is an interim release supported for 9 months up until June 2018. This release represents a huge change from previous versions. With Mark Shuttleworth announcing the end of Convergence, it effectively meant the end of the Unity desktop. So this may seem like the Unity desktop style, but it is Gnome version 3.26. This dash-to-dock-like extension was added to ease the transition from Unity. Now I say dash-to-dock-like extension because you notice the obvious difference there with the application launcher being at the bottom. Now I believe this just represents a colossal mistake from the Ubuntu development team, because some of these small changes are more difficult to get used to with the application launcher being at the bottom. The extension they forked this from, which was dash-to-dock, actually had the ability to move the application launcher up to the top. I can imagine that so many people are going to accidentally open the top icon there, which in this instance is Firefox. But other than that annoying change here, you do actually have a fair bit of functionality from Unity. When you're doing a large download, it will display the progress in Firefox. When you're doing a file copy, it will display in Nautilus, or files as I should call it. Another feature this launcher is missing is the ability to open from the Super or Windows key and numeric keys. So if I held down the Super key, which I am at the moment, it does absolutely nothing. But upon letting it go, we do have the application switcher and a type to search. So if I type something like Inkscape, yes, I can launch it from there. So there's a fair bit of the behaviour from Unity, just not all. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the other under the hood changes. Canonical are dropping support for the 32-bit ISO file of Ubuntu desktop. If you're still using an older machine, then you'll have to look at one of the derivatives of Ubuntu, such as Lubuntu or Ubuntu Mate. And incidentally, Ubuntu Mate has an excellent implementation of the Unity desktop. Or you could go down the Ubuntu server route and install the Ubuntu desktop yourself. So if I can log out, LightDM is no longer the login screen, we're back to using the Gnome Display Manager. Clicking on the cog provides two options for login here, so we have Ubuntu and Ubuntu on Xorg. The default is Ubuntu using Wayland, the Wayland Display Manager instead of Xorg. And honestly, functionality is perfectly acceptable, and I believe this will even work for NVIDIA users. But if your system is not compatible, you can switch to using Xorg, so not a problem there. Ubuntu 17.10 is using Linux kernel 4.13, and perhaps a bit late in the day to run a memory test, but in this instance I'm using 984 meg of RAM. But I'm not going to judge the figure right now because we're still in development. I'll take a look at that in the final release review. There is driverless printing support for IPP Everywhere, Apple AirPrint, Mopria and Wi-Fi Direct devices. And since I'm on the settings menu at the moment, this provides me with a chance to look at another new feature, the settings menu. So this has been entirely redesigned. So you can either scroll up and down the list of devices, or you can type in the name of a particular section you're looking for. For example, mouse and touchpad, and it takes me across to the mouse and touchpad section. A feature you'll notice with Gnome is how many buttons get shoved up into the application title bar. And another point to notice is the close, minimise, maximise buttons are on the right hand side. Here is an example of the settings for the dock, so you can auto hide it, change the icon size, and you can move the position on the screen. Well, fairly flexible in that you've got left, bottom and right. There is now a nightlight feature built in. You can either have an automated schedule of sunset to sunrise, or manually set the time. So nightlight, as it states there, will make the screen appear warmer. This kind of increases the red colour in the screen and reduces the blue colour. This can help prevent eye strain and sleepiness. Now, I have tried this feature on my Android phone, and I have to say that it's quite useful, especially late in the evenings when you're trying to look at the screen in low light. Having the increased red and the decreased blue does actually make the device more pleasing to look at. The layout has changed for Rhythmbox, so we have the play controls at the bottom of the screen. Confusingly, the audio controls are no longer under the sound menu, instead they're under the time. Yep, of course, why not? But the feature still exists. You'll notice we still have the Amazon launcher. That now opens in the default browser. Right, I want to open LibreOffice, so yeah, LibreOffice right, that'll do. The application menus are no longer in the window bar, the locally integrated menus which we had in previous versions of Ubuntu, and you don't get global menu either, by default, although you can have that as an extension in Gnome, but it is nowhere near as good as the Unity global menu was. Which is a shame to lose that feature. LibreOffice is up to version 5.4.1. You'll notice the bar at the top of the screen darkens when you have an application open. So it goes to transparent, I think just when you have windowed applications open, so yeah. So when you have an application maximized, it's dark. Windowed, transparent. And one final feature to mention which has gone is the heads-up display. So yeah, no longer exists. So that covers the main changes to Ubuntu. Now you can gain some of the features back with extensions, but that will be up to you to add to your system. I've just covered the things that are pre-installed. So thanks for watching, I'll see you all later.